Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Roman again for Strength by Doing. Just today, kind of a weird, different mix-up of what I'm going to talk about, but really what I want to get at is just being able to accept help and understand when you can't do something, and don't hurt yourself, basically. If you know your limitations are a certain thing and something else is a little bit beyond your limitations, not necessarily. I always say, push your limitations or you won't know what else you can do. But there's also different things where you just can't do them physically or otherwise. I mean, you may not have the knowledge to do something differently, or even if you have physical ability or something else. Like today, I had to help move a fridge, and I didn't have the right stuff to do it, and my back was not going to do it the way I was thinking about doing it. I didn't think about the way that my brother was doing it. My brother, a little bit bigger than me, but I mean, I'm not saying that that's the reason why it was actually easier for him, but he had different tools. He had a different method of doing it. He's done that sort of thing before, so he knew how to leverage things a little bit more. And I don't think his back is near as bad as mine is. Maybe not. I don't know if it is, but for me, I have a really, really jacked up back, and if I try to axial load or just put too much load crushing force down on my spine, I can feel it before it even starts. I'll just stop completely. I can do squats and deadlifts and stuff like that, but it's very controlled compared to trying to move something that's heavier than anything else I normally move. So that's a different story. It was just something that kind of led me towards, like, I know my limitations on what I can't push beyond. I know that I can eventually get stronger to where that's not going to be as big of a deal, but I also know that where I'm at now is just not going to handle doing the thing that I was going to do in the way that I was going to do it. So it's just sometimes it's healthy to have somebody else's opinion and feedback and different ways to do it, because I didn't have the equipment to do it either. At least it's the same kind, because an old hand truck with wobbly wheels was not going to move that thing. I had to get it on a dolly and get it up a ramp and everything. Had to make our own little ramp out of some plywood and stuff. Hand is itchy today. It just might be the dry air going on here, but it happens sometimes while I'm at work. Other than that, just being able to accept things, and I was thinking about that, plus adaptability. How we adapt to different things, and it's not always on the fly. And I always think about the Borg reference. It's like they can do something and also automatically adapt to things. Well, humans, on the other hand, we take time. We have to criticize and basically have the change kind of proven or argued towards where it's solidified that we actually do need to do this. And also, to see what ways we can minimize the amount of change that we do at once. Because if we try to change everything at once, it's kind of like, well, you're so set in your ways that it becomes difficult to actually change everything at once. So you try to find ways to just adapt slowly, or at your own pace rather. Because some people can change automatically. It's no big deal. In certain situations, I can, and you can do something that's different for yourself. I mean, it all depends on how your brain works and how it copes with different things. So just understand that adaptability is not always instant, but rather give yourself time, and let people know that if they're in charge of you or your boss or whoever, that you're dealing with the changing, but you're actually making forth that effort to actually change and make visual and noticeable changes within yourself, and try not to complain all the time. I mean, understand that things change, and if you complain about them all the time, you're not going to change. You're going to get stuck and left behind. And when people get left behind, well, they usually get let go, because nobody wants to be dragging somebody along for the ride. But just that, and it kind of made me think of the Serenity Prayer. Thinking of being able to change the things that you can and accept the things that you can't, and learning the difference between the two. We really sometimes there's certain things we just don't know, and we just have to kind of put ourselves out there. Like I said in another video, is trusting. You have that trust that you have within yourself and others that you work with on a daily basis, is to know that what we're actually able to change within ourselves. And it's also where management comes in kind of hand a little bit here and there, or at least from what I've done before in the past. managing my own team and stuff. A long time ago. Lots of change since then. But just different things like that. I just want to talk about, being able to accept the help of others and knowing your limitations, even though you're constantly pushing your own limitations, knowing your limitations beyond that. And you don't want to overreach, because you have things like hyperextension. You have a boxer who punches too far, will throw out his shoulder and sometimes his elbow, just from hyperextending, just overworking, because you know that you can push just a little bit further, but then you push too far, or you're trying to lift weight and you want to push a little bit harder, and you push too far and you hurt yourself, or just different situations where you promise others more than you can actually put forward, even though you promise, say, 100 items on this PO, but your normal output is 50 to 60. Well, you might have you overpromised when you failed and only came in at 80, whereas you could have promised just a little bit less. I mean, it's not saying to always promise less than your max, but just don't push too far beyond your normal, because you end up hurting yourself and others in the process. Or I mean, depending on what it really is. So I just ranting on a little bit. That's what I normally do, I guess. The other thing, just understand that in time you might get there, and you don't have to rush it. You don't have to rush everything all at once, and that's with adaptation as well. But follow me, strengthbydoing.com, facebook.com/strengthbydoing, and talk to you guys later. I needed to update the Twitter thing. I know, but I just don't know a lot of people on Twitter. At least somebody mentions me at all, so I just never really bother with it. Other words, get out and do something, and just understand that life is what it is. You can't force traffic to move just by screaming at it. So that's another thing. I mean, we all get in that situation, so just kind of breathe, take your time. It's gonna be okay. Take care, guys.